So when we look at simplifying a ratio, we can simplify ratios just like we simplify fractions. So this is why people really like ratios if they already know fractions, or really like fractions after they know ratios. They kind of go hand in hand. So what we do is, instead of dividing the numerator and denominator by the same number, or the same common factor, we now divide the left and right. So if we look at what I kind of put there in front of you, the 4 to 10, we can simplify that by dividing both the top, or the left and right. I'm even so used to saying top and bottom. The left and right by 2. So dividing both the left side, 4 divided by 2 is 2, and the right side, 10 divided by 2 is 5. Notice we cannot divide anything to the left and right the same integer to get out a whole number, so we're going to leave it as so. So we're going to go through a variety of examples right here. So, looking at the first one on the left, example 1, simplify 4 to 8. So 4 to 8, what is one number that we can go both into 4 and 8? Well, one thing I like to tell everybody is that, well, you can do this in one step, but when in doubt, you could do these always in multiple steps. So what's one thing we can always divide even numbers by? The number 2. So if they're both even, you can always have them. Then what are you going to get? Well, 4 divided by 2 is simply 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Then check again. Well, if they're even still, you can always simplify again by dividing by 2. So while it's a very long process, just dividing by 2, it is a method that works if you're kind of stuck. So when we get that and solve that out, we're just going to get the ratio of 1 to 2. Okay, so now example 2 on the right hand side there, we want to simplify 12 to 20. So here I'm going to kind of look at what can I put into 12 and 20? Well, if you know that that's in your 4 times table, that's the best. So this is where times tables really come in handy, is when you're dividing, so you can divide by something bigger. So here we're going to divide by 4 and divide by 4. So if you divide by 4 and divide by 4, we're going to get 3 to 5. Okay, so one step. Next, well, this is quite a bigger number, right? And this is where I kind of gave you that, well, when in doubt, divide by 2, then you might be able to see something easier. So here, I'm just going to do as such. So here to here. So divide by 2 and divide by 2. 28 divided by 2 is just going to be 14. And 140 divided by 2 is 70. Now, if you can see something, rather than dividing by 2, or else we're going to be dividing for a long time. Well, I can see that, well, 14 divided by 2 is 7, right? And at that point, that's where I go, well, actually, I can also do 70 divided by 7. So I'm actually not going to do 14 divided by 2. I'll do 14 divided by 7. So that's divide by 7, and that's going to give us simply 2 on the left and 10 on the right, and we just have to take this one more step further, where we can divide by 2 and 2 again, and we'll find that our end ratio is 1 to 5. So one more example to do, and then we'll get on to some practice problems. So simplifying what happens when we have 3 terms, right, in a ratio. Well, now we just have to find something that divides into all 3, just like if we were trying to compare 3 different fractions. So here, what's one thing that we can divide into 18, 81, and 36? Well, this requires sometimes, well, I can't see something really easy for 18, 81, and 36. Some people can, some people can't. I can see it just because, like I said, times table, so that's divided by 9. So when it looks like something hard, typically it's one of those times tables that you should already know. So 18 divided by 9 is 2. 81 divided by 9 is 9, because 9 times 9 is 81. And, well, 9 times by 4 is 36. So, there we go. And we're down to our simplest form. So here, fully simplify the following ratios. So sometimes they say simplify, sometimes they say fully simplify. Typically just take it down to the simplest form and you'll always be correct. So pause the video at this point. When you're ready, press play and we'll go through the answers really quickly. Okay, so let's start going through the answers. So how can we simplify down to the simplest form for these? So 4 to 6, that'll simply become 2 to 3 because we can divide by 2. So I'm just going to, I'll put up the ratio and then I'll put the what we divide by underneath. So here, divide by 2. Then this one we're going to divide by 5, so we get the ratio of 1 to 3. Like I said, we divide by 5. Next one we can divide by 4. And we divide by 7. This one we can divide by 9. And this one we divide by 20. Right? So, what does that give us? So we're going to get the ratio of 1 to 4. Here we get the ratio of 1 to 2. Here we get the ratio of 2 to 5. And lastly, the ratio of 1 to 20.